Bonjour. What's up, Luna? Milo, Roro, Fatalina, Robs, Red Mystica, Luna. Already said Luna. Right, good. We're all good. Jesse, how you doing? How's everybody doing? How we doing? How we doing? How we doing? Right. What's up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing? What's up, y'all? What's up, everybody? Cool. I'll give you an idea of what we're going to draw. Also, repping the black hoodie this week. Choo-choo! What's up, Marvin? What's up, Eva? Hi from Vienna. Catalina, that is unacceptable. Unacceptable. You put that work to one side and you just hold fire on it. So today's idea, I had like an thought process of creating like train tracks that are making their way into the distance. Maybe some sort of mountain scene at the back. I was going to sort of mess around with potentially having like a curved set of train tracks, but for the sake of a tutorial, I think it's a little bit easier to do it in straight lines a little bit. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. A lot of the tutorials I've been making lately are just ridiculously long, so I'll start from scratch so you can see, and we'll go from there. What's up, Denise? So I made a couple of changes to the setup as well. So I said last week we were running the camera out at like USB, so it's like 720p into the stream. Now it should be 1080, it should be looking a little bit crisper. Some of the lights aren't on that are normally on for my videos, so it looks a little bit darker in this sort of space here. But it now runs, this is like NASA space station in here now. There's another monitor up here now, which has a complete feed of the camera, so I can see that at all times, no matter what, just to make sure I'm in focus and stuff. And then we have everything else going on with the computer in the other screen as well. So it's like 3 screens in front of me all towered up. It's looking crazy. No pyramid. No pyramid. So to draw this, I'll need a perspective. And if you go to your drawing guide, you can go ahead and pop one on your screen. Again, just as anybody's new here, these aren't like live draw along with me. They're just me drawing. You can hang out with me. We'll just have a chat, casually hang out with each other for a bit, and most of the time these all turn into tutorials at some point anyway, so if you like the look of them, they'll probably turn up at some point in your feed. Right, so we'll pop a little perspective. You can pop a perspective line down. We could make it fancy and have it go off to the side. Maybe that would be quite interesting to do, a little bit more of an angle, or we could pop it smack bang in the center. I'm all for in the center. I like a lot of symmetry myself, but if we got to line that up perfectly in the center there, so they would just run in that direction, or maybe we do it at an angle. They run across there, maybe there and there into the distance. We'll go with straight lines. We'll go with straight lines, and we'll just see what sort of happens with it. How's everybody's week? It's been a bit quiet on the old Discord. What's everybody been up to? So that point gives me my vanishing point. Can you see all those lines on the screen? You should just about be able to. If I go to edit that, change it to a different color for you. Just in case you've never seen a drawing guide like that one before. We'll just chuck it in like that. There you go. You can see all those lines. So then you can use that as a guide as to what to do. So I'll sketch it out first. And then we'll go from there. I thought you were about to say, Robs, that you couldn't stay. I was like, yo, I'm knackered this week. I'm struggling big time with the change in the times. And you're not even going to stay with me. Jesse says, I'm just asking, I have to replace my head gaskets, so I've been busy. So busy with admin stuff, I haven't been able to do anything creative. Yeah, it happens sometimes, I get it. Right, let's sketch this out. So we need to pick some of the perspective lines. So this is our center point, so we can pick like 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 across, literally just run it into the corner maybe and up towards this point here. So this is just a sketching phase, but you want to kind of just take a look at a few different angles and see if you kind of like how the tracks look. You could go wider than that, so it looks as if you're almost stood on the tracks. You could go all the way like wide over here. I'll just tilt my pen for you there. Let's go down into this point here, and that may actually look pretty cool. Look like it sort of passes past us, you know. I think we'll roll with that. And then we can maybe sketch out the top of the tracks, like the metal tracks themselves. I'll go into these points here. Oh, hang on, before we get started, let me show you something that I did last week. Back when I first started doing all of the Procreate stuff, I used to do quite a few commissions for people for their like pets or anything else like that. And I did one of the largest I've done to date. And it was over 18,000 brush strokes. I think it took me about 6.5 hours, which is this one here. So if we zoom in, you can get an idea for the absolute absurd amount of color, constant picking from the photograph that I was provided, and just drawing and drawing and drawing. And it took ages. You can see all of these little colors in the chest. And then the face as well, like the face just took ages. I'm looking at them on it there. Oh, it's so cool. I'm so happy with it, but like, if you're ever gonna do anything like this, for God's sake, don't pick your price based off of obviously the type of dog. So like I've done ones in the past, a similar one, and I'll show you. A similar one, but it wasn't like a cockapoo of some sort. It was a golden lab, so it was a lot easier than what I've done there with the cockapoo. So like this one here, for example, you've got like large patches in the fur, so you can get away with these really large brush strokes and kind of like take up a lot of space and kind of get on with it. Yeah. Like, we zoom in, like, I think the zooming in is always the main thing to take a look at, because there is just so many different patches. It's the only word to refer to it as. It's just patches after patches after patches. Yeah, relentless, absolutely relentless. But yeah, I used to do them all back in the day. Someone just asked a second ago, do I still do it? No, not anymore. But it was a friend of a friend, like it was one of our friends, so I just did it. I said yes, and we did it. So yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. I may do a video on that type of thing one day as well, on how to kind of do that type of thing, because there's a few things that would like, I think there's a good video idea there of some sort. What it would be, I'm not sure yet, but I have a few things in mind. But yeah. So I'm using the perspective lines here now to kind of like draw out my trees. So my trees kind of sit like at this line here at the base there, and then you've got like the fall off here of like the grass and stuff. And then we're using the perspective lines to draw them in. Now, we could like make our trees really big and make it look like a really tall forest right next to it. We could even go like up to this point and like have the trees instead of like this line here. But I kind of want to show that there's a bit of sky in the background maybe, so potentially we could do that. Let's just draw a line across so I make sure I get my perspective point. There it is. So just like tree line all the way down into the distance, which we can't see, and then we're 1, 2 across, 1, 2. So here is my gap between the side of the track. And so this is grass, and then we've got to do the tracks in. So this doesn't mean much to you potentially, but to me, it definitely. Yeah. Sorry. Luna says, how do you know what type of canvas size you want to use? So majority of my work in terms of for the YouTube stuff is just 1 or 2 sizes. It's the screen size, or it's the or it's 2000 by 2000. It's just good for Instagram, good size for Instagram. It's nothing too big. It's big enough that we can get some details, but it's not too small. Like I have to balance the amount of layers, but for those commissions of those dogs, they're A4 sizes. A4 sizes. Jesse says, I hope one day that my OCD or ADHD lets me draw something just to do it. It sucks. That's the whole thing. There's probably a whole learning curve there, isn't there, to go through as well? Like understanding what it is that you want to draw and then trying to put it onto paper, but not really paper, your canvas. I was a bit bored of that tree line, so maybe we push that tree line a little bit higher and we go up to this point here. So my sketches are always like, they're pretty straightforward and pretty simple. Then there's not a lot really to them. It's more just sort of, I know where I want to go with it. It's just making sure that I can fill in the gaps basically here and try and work out what it is I like from that. So this could even be like a mountain back here to fill in that space, and that would kind of give us the 4 quadrants all filled in. That could look pretty cool. Let's do that. Let's pinch them together for a second, and we'll lower that down. Don't think I need the drawing guide on anymore. And then when you look at that, you kind of, I can definitely see everything that I need there. So yeah, let's just do it. I got some colours that I've already grabbed, and now I've forgotten completely which colours are meant to go where. This one. And we're going to do it in like a few painting, like the same sort of painting style I really like at the minute, so we'll go with that. If I was to tell you that I am all the way, I've got tutorials set up, ready to go, all the way now until the month of June. Would you believe me? I'm already at the month of June with the tutorials for Patreon. I've really been getting my head down because I know I've got a lot coming up this year. Like I'm here next week for the live stream, but I'm not here the week after. So yeah, I'm trying to get ahead of myself to the point where I'm well ahead. It's a lot more stress-free, and I've been enjoying a particular style recently that I have just been running with, just completely running with. If you've seen the new sneak peek over on Patreon of the next Patreon tutorial, it's a lot to do with that kind of misty aesthetic. Of course, if you were here last week as well, you'll know that I've been working on that kind of style and a palette really that is just like so good for that kind of thing. But I'm pretty confident not many people have maybe seen that tutorial over on Patreon. Sometimes their emails just don't go out and people haven't seen it. So if you haven't, just go and check it out. A little Whomping Willow design. So if you're a fan of Harry Potter, then you'll probably like that one over on Patreon. On the 4th of April. Yeah, I'm a good 7 videos ahead of myself, which is awesome. And I'm also juggling sort of how to sort of release them and in what order I want to release them in. which is fun because I can try to sort of balance out the month a little bit for everybody and make sure that you kind of get like some really nice content that oh, hang on, symmetry. Let's just move that just to the center there. Yeah, just making sure the month is a bit balanced, so you get content that's like long content, you get some shorter content, and everything in between. But yeah, it feels great. It feels very mentally relieving, you know, to be that far ahead. Oh wait, sorry. I've just realised I've just been nattering and just ignoring all of you for ages. It's the best way to be sometimes. Oh Jesse, I know, I'm sorry. At the minute, Cooper, I got to a point where I was about to crack on with it, and then I've just gone, I'm not doing it. I just don't want to do it at the minute, Cooper, I'm afraid. It's just not, it's not in my mindset at all for Cooper. It's a shame. I don't want to draw. I think it's an interesting topic anyway, but I don't want to draw something that I don't want to do. Really, it's just as simple as that. Like I want to draw something I'm really enjoying at the minute. I think it's really hard to balance that whole concept, but it's not that I'm not enjoying it. It's just it wasn't something I wanted. I'm enjoying other styles and other things so much more, and more so, to be honest, the feeling of actually developing a style that I feel like I might just continue to do regularly. Yeah, Cooper, I'm afraid, is just taking a huge backseat. And one thing I've tried to explain as well is recently that there's a lot of things I want to try and do, such as I don't want you guys have to do lots and lots of different techniques and different brushes. I want to build up a catalogue of brushes and style. Do I want to make that symmetrical? I don't think I do. I want to build up a style and a collection of brushes that you guys can use repetitively and really understand how they work in a more practical sense, and then you can then apply them in your own work. Why did I not turn that symmetry off? Is that why? Oh, of course it is. I did it, that's why. So yeah, like unfortunately that's at the sacrifice of something like Cooper, because it's not in the style that I'm currently enjoying. I could probably try and convert it, but truth be told, at the minute I don't think I really want to. I'm enjoying the landscapes and stuff that I've just been enjoying so much. 3%, we'll drop it down to. And just nailing down a set of brushes and styles that I really enjoy using. What's happened there? To just continue to make designs that I feel comfortable with. Because like with all of these designs, if you're not sure about the tools that you're using, it's quite hard to feel confident about understanding how the outcome will be. Whereas there's certain things I know I'm doing right now that will aid me later on in this design sort of thing. I scrolled up and then didn't keep up. So yeah, unfortunately, Cooper has very much taken a back seat. What's up, Melissa? Good to see you. The willow looks amazing. I'm so excited to do that one. Oh, that's awesome. Rachel Bailey joining the family over on Patreon. And that's Scottish and he's Italian, so it's like a complete mashup of personalities there. If you're watching, welcome to the family. Enjoy the tutorials, and you've got a whole catalogue of tutorials to be joining in with, and a whole year's worth of support as well, so that's awesome. If you're watching, welcome to the family. Everybody give big claps in the chat for Rach. My grey Trust the Process hoodie is toasty. Yeah, they're pretty comfy. Pretty soft on the inside, quite fluffy, so they're very warm. Yeah, no hello or anything, Joel. I'm talking to air like a muppet. I apologise. Just getting into my drawing, man. Relax. Spaceman older tutorials. Yeah, more painting, please. Love those loose styles and found my inner calm with them, and losing my art has to be perfect mentality. Exactly. Oh, Luna. Sorry, it's Luna, isn't it? Sorry, I was catching back up with the chat. Was that you? That was you, Luna. Yeah. Everybody welcome Luna to the Patreon family. Enjoy the tutorials. Got any questions, let me know. So yeah, that's kind of the story about Cooper, really. I love the idea. Still love the idea. It's just, yeah, not something I want to really tackle at the minute. And I said this before on stream. I will always stick to something that I want to draw. Like, I'm not going to draw something if I don't want to draw it. You know, people ask me all the time, oh, could you do like an anime character? Can you do... I don't, like, it's not my vibe. And even if I had a million people ask me to do it, I probably wouldn't. It's not my style. It's not my style because that's just not what I do. So, yeah. I get a lot of people asking for that, especially like on the Joel Designs channel as well. People ask me for content like that. And, yeah, I'm always going to draw stuff that I want to draw. Otherwise, I feel like I'd just go mad. I really would. I'd just go crazy. Because you're always trying to please somebody else rather than your own skill set. By the way, this rad brush, stumbled across it. Absolutely awesome. You can just build out trees so quick and easy. It's in a lot of tutorials that are coming up on the Patreon. So you'll get familiar with that. And that's what I mean, is in like, I found a set of brushes and stuff that I really want to use. And I enjoy using, so definitely want to try and continue to crack on with them. Because at the same time, I also want to draw and increase my, not increase, but I don't think increase is the right word, is it? I want to better my own skill set and style. You know, I want to get better myself. It's hard to do that when you're jumping from thing to thing. I think Flo nailed it a couple of weeks ago, really, in the fact that she was doing a lot of the isometric designs, and I think that's great. That's amazing for her because she can just crack on and like really nail that style down and all the things involved with that. And I think she did, like, I swear she did maybe 3 back-to-back or something. I don't even know about Patreon on her side, so it's just one of them things. Welcome, Luna. Welcome to the family. Lindsay says, Joel, it's your channel, it's your vibe, and we love whatever you want to do. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Oh, lemon drizzle all day long. All day long. That rad brush is built in. The rad brush is in vintage, under vintage. It's just rad. It's awesome. So good. Purple Mountains tutorial. Purple Mountain tutorial. I don't think that was the rad brush. That was the leatherwood. If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, pretty sure. Create for Christ Design says, I love your landscapes. I appreciate it. There's a lot of them. So there's lots to pick from. What are you saying FML for? You're talking about lemon drizzle? James Julia used to use the rad brush for leaves in tutorial a couple of years ago. Oh, that's sick. I mean, James is awesome. I was literally just stumbling across it whilst I was just sometimes I like to. I've really gone off of using people's brushes, like from packs and stuff. Like I've really gone off of it. I really do think you don't need any other brushes than the ones that are built in. And I have been guilty of this completely. So if you're that type, if you're the same person as me, you know, of like grabbing brush after brush after brush, anything you could see that was like slightly cool, you'd be like, oh, I'll grab it, I'm gonna chuck it in my collection, and if I use it, I use it, but maybe I'll find something, I'll do something with it this week and whatever, and then I'll leave it. I'll never come back to it again. You end up with these massive libraries, you just don't need them. And I sell brushes, for Christ's sake, so you know, I'm kind of shooting myself in the foot. But which, by the way, if you want to check out my brush store, there's a link in the description. I mean, you can buy my brushes, that's fine, but like, you don't need anybody else's. That's what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? What's up, Bella? Good fellow. That's coffee all day long. If you drink tea is absolutely boring. It's awful. So boring. And if you drink tea, you're boring. I don't mean that. What are you joking? Although I do like a lemon iced tea, so I will take that. I will take that back. That particular point. Nothing else though. Let's roll with that. I might do. Do I make this a Misty design? I don't know. Nick Charles joining a superstar tier as well. Nick, if you're here in the chat, welcome to the family. Can we have a round of applause in the chat for Nick joining the family? Over on Patreon. Enjoy your perks. If you're here, I appreciate you. And let me know if you've got any questions or anything I can help you with. Salesman of the year. Nah, Lindsay's tea is. I'm not gonna have it. Iced tea, like a lemon iced tea. Those I can't remember what the brand is, but I don't know why I'm looking around. I ain't got any, but like yeah. Right, I'm trying to do some work, like. Trying to remember where all the colours were for each thing. This one. And then I'm going to do something a little bit odd. I'm going to go to drawing guide, edit drawing guide. We'll do a 2D grid. We'll increase the grid size to something around about there. We'll set that layer to a drawing assist. And we're just going to draw in a bunch of horizontal lines. These are going to be the wooden beams, like the I don't know what they're called, but it doesn't really matter. This will make sense in a minute, I think. And then we'll bring everything back in. We'll grab that layer, chuck it under there, grab our cursor, grab the distort option. Cool. I'm very sensitive to coffee, so I drink it, but I end up like a 5-year-old on Smarties. Yeah, I can't drink like caffeine late anymore. It just keeps me up at night. Also, the remembering you lot in the chat keeps me up at night, I think, most of the time as well. Not pedal those brushes, Joe. Eva says, do you combine Procreate with other drawing apps? No, I do not. Procreate is my my one true love. Other than, don't tell that to the Joel Designs community, because you know I equally love Infinite Painter. Like equally, like completely equally. I'm trying to work out the perspective here for these like wooden areas here. I want one. I'm going to end up cropping this out by accident, but I'm not going to. Yeah. That looks good, but I need to, yeah, I need to duplicate that layer, keep hold of it, and do that again. Flatten that down, grab distort. I'll fire, I'll be with you. So just trying to get like using the distort option with something like this is perfect, because you can just get those angles to match up perfectly. Oh Jesus, a little something a bit more like that. We can tuck those corners in a little bit more. Are they called sleepers, aren't they? Are they called sleepers? I'm pretty sure they're called sleepers. Yeah, I mean, I do, like, to answer Eva's question, I do have a second channel where I create weekly tutorials for the Infinite Painter community. Because I am a busy man. That looks right now. Oh, it looks like it could have gone wider than that. No, do you know what? We'll leave it. We'll leave it. We'll leave it. And then I'll do another one. Flatten it down even more. Grab distort. Basically just match it up to the tracks. These ones are going to get seriously crushed in detail now. Hold fire. I'll be with you in just 2 seconds. Yeah, that's cool. You can see how that scene's all coming together now, yeah? Sylvian, hello from France. Bonjour, my friend. Bonjour. You're just a thing of nightmares, Lindsay. That's what it is. I just didn't think this community would go downhill so quickly, but you know, it is what it is. Also, grab the merch, links in the description. Coffee or Guinness, that's quite I mean, if they're your only 2 options, your day is always going to be a good one, I suppose, so it's all good. Sleepers, yep, I knew it was. Yeah, I knew it was. What's up, Justin? What's up, everybody? Right, do you know who we need right now? We need Troy in here right now. All these grey names, I'm sure he'll make an appearance at some point. Let's duplicate this, scale it down. And then at this point, they're getting so far back. You should never really want to focus your attention on something this far back in the design, to be honest. You should want to try to eliminate that level of detail at this point. That's fine. Oh yeah, that's it, Red Mystica. No, you're right. You're right. I got you. And then I think we'll just merge them together and just kind of, I think we could just get away with literally just filling this in now with just like a bunch of horizontal lines. Try and block some out. I've got like drawing assist on by the looks of it. But if I leave a few gaps here and there, it's nice and carefree. They're all going to slowly just blend into one big just area of darkness, really, because they're so far away. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, the only thing is they just randomly stop on the side. I'm only joking, Lindsay. Right, cool. That's that in place. We need to define a light source. So I think we'll come across from the top left, across the screen. So these will be darker trees. These will be nice and bright eventually, and we'll go from there. So let's just start getting involved with some of these pieces of the sleepers. We need to darken up like one side of them. I'm going to drawing assist it to make life a bit easier. And make them look a little bit more 3D. We'll get some bits and pieces in like the gaps and stuff, like stone and all that sort of stuff in those gaps. For the minute though, we'll just run these horizontal lines down the side. That should give us like a side profile of the wood. We'll do the same over here as well. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. One person's dream is another man's nightmare. Yeah, very true. Those colours there, oh yeah. So if the light source is coming across, we can put some sort of streaks in the wood on the top level here. Just going to keep it really nice and easy. Brighten up the wood on that side, on the top edges. If you're wondering what brush I'm using, currently using the Spectra brush under painting. Pretty much my favorite at the minute. It's got a good solid shape to it. It's got a good amount of color. Like, that sounds really silly, but each brush has different, like, it will drop the color on in different ways is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, the difference in the brush will make a huge change to the overall texture and look of your design. Then we'll chuck some of these wood lines in here. I think we'll even grab like this lighter tone and chuck some sort of areas of scratchy streakiness in here on that top edge only. See, like when I think of this design and I look at it, I think, oh, that could be a little bit of a long one. But when you break it down into just 4 quadrants, like it's actually not that bad, you know. It's not that bad. So JB, you make it look so easy, but it isn't. You're absolutely right. It is not, and it's just practice, my friend. It's just practice. It's just practice, practice, practice. Again, this is what I was saying earlier. This is the benefit of then using the same brushes over and over again. I know what I'm going to get out of this brush when I use it. I know how to sort of adjust its color and usage to benefit what it is I'm doing right now. And that's why I would say is try your best to stick to a certain set of brushes. It will benefit you endlessly because you'll just know what you're doing with them. Trust me, I'm guilty of it, of just constantly like trying to change up the brushes all the time and go, oh, you know, I've got to use a different brush this week because we used that brush last week. I don't want people getting bored, and that was my original mindset, and it's the wrong one to have. Appreciate it, Melissa. Appreciate it. How's life, Melissa? What's good? We haven't seen you in a minute. Now you're back. What's new? What's good? That's fine. Let's get some texture in this groundwork. I think we can start to duplicate this layer a few times, get it like solid color, and then let's get in there with some texture, some brushes to try and pull out some detail in like in between the sleepers. You'd have like the rocks, like pebbles and whatnot. So I'm looking for a particular brush. Could use the rad brush, to be fair. It would give me the randomness to it. Could use clay. And then shadow it afterwards. Let's try the rad brush in there first. And let's roll with that. Again, if we can keep the sort of amount of brushes to a minimum, that would be great. That doesn't look quite right. And also, Joel, come on, man. Should be using your darker tone first. And then we can layer on the highlights afterwards. Then we'll grab this lighter tone here. We'll run that over the top. The minute it's probably going to look a bit odd because we need to add shadows. If I add some basic shadows to this ground, painting spectra, the light source coming from the top left, the back end of all of these sleepers will get like a little casted shadow behind them. Shadows always just bring your design together anyway. Scribble that down there. That really helps those tracks come to life. I don't hear music, Lindsay, only Joel's hypnotic sultry voices. I read that, I reread that in a very different way. The L was swapped with the U in position, so it was a very different word. Joel's slutty voice is what I read it as, and I was like, God damn. There should be some music in the background. Are you guys talking about the music? Minister says, all good, just busy. Good to be back. It's good to have you back. It's awesome to see like faces that I haven't seen for ages come back. It's awesome. It's awesome. Guys, don't forget to like the video. Absolutely. Phantom Marto 007 says, have you drawn skyscrapers? Not yet. Something I want to do. I want to. Once I think I'm finished with this sort of period of these sort of trees and mountains and scapes like that, I think I will probably try and move into. I really want to move into quite futuristic city vibes. You know, like really like that real neon vibe to it. Really, what's the word I'm looking for? Just futuristic is the only way. That is literally the word you're looking for, Joel. So you don't have to get your thesaurus out anymore. But yeah, just a really futuristic city designs would be really fun to do. This area of ground, which is just here on the side, let's duplicate that out a few times, get some good solid color in there, and then merge them together and go to work on those. But I feel like they should be underneath those shadows, and so they should. that right? Yeah, it's right. The colours just look a bit rubbish. Trees. I think those are the trees in the background. Those are the colour of the ground. So I think it's actually these tones. Let's try and let's maybe use the dry brush and just. Oh, is this drawing assisted? What have I done there? Is this a layer that then needs adjusting, isn't it? That one there. Let's go for rad again. Not that big. My god, these drawing assisted layers are throwing me right off. Let's just chip away at the edge here. So what I'm doing here is I'm just introducing the bit of the grass and stuff down this edge that's just underneath the trees, and that makes its way really close to the tracks. I think if I'm going to redraw this again, that would probably need a little bit more space. The colour of that is also pretty awful. Yeah, the reference photo that I used has not really benefited this area quite so much. We'll drop it to that and we'll roll with it for a minute, because I want to get the trees in first, because I think that's where it will start to come to life a bit more. Oh, I definitely am. Not my fault. Joel's hotter than ever. Stop it. Stop it. What, you don't like? I've had long hair before. You're saying you don't like that? Lol, I see where the minds of the ladies are now. Some things never change. Yeah, futuristic, like kind of cyberpunk-esque. Yeah. That's the one. Right, let's get some colour in these trees and start to add in some different tones. So with the light source coming across that way, I want these trees on the right to be a lot brighter than the ones on the left. I would normally use the rad. This is going to be an experiment now as to how that could work. Because I've got my trees here, and if we start to colour in down those edges, which to be honest, I don't think I've actually chucked enough colour in there yet. So let's do that. Let's go into that leatherwood. Yeah, let's darken this up. And like little techniques like this, where I've now got lots of different colours in here that it's doing me a lot of favours. I don't need to do quite so much in these areas of the trees, because all of these light overlapped colours are doing all the work for me, and they're kind of like creating all the texture. Let's move just straight to this one. Let's try that rad brush. I'm not sure it's going to work for these larger trees, but we'll see. Like, I'm going to have to define some of these tree edges a bit more. Like back there's fine because they're so small, that's fine. But some of these like defined trees that we made are going to need some colour. That's fine, we'll roll with that. This side does get some colour, even though it's not facing our light source, but they're just not going to be the brightest tones in comparison. What size is this brush size? 16%, Joel, in case you're watching this back. Sometimes I have to watch it back to remind myself of things that I did in the video and then how to re-replicate them again. Right, let's just keep making our way down these brighter tones here. Yeah, it would be cool to try and do some futuristic scenes. Sure. Is the music too loud? I feel like it nicely fills in the blanks when I'm not talking. So this one's going to have a real like autumnal-ish look to it. All the way down towards the end. Lovely stuff. They can be a little bit, maybe if the lighting's just here, it's been blocked by those trees. So maybe on these top edges of the back of the trees, we add in a brighter tone or two where that lighting is coming in from behind. So I'm imagining now our light source is going to break through from just behind there. So we then apply that throughout the rest of the design. Let's roll with these lovely yellowy tones down here too. Rad brush is doing all of the work. Not really doing much. Just sitting here talking really, just letting the brush do all the work. Best way to be. It's coming to life, it's coming to life. The playlist, this is Sakura Dreams by Stream Beats. It's Harris Heller. He created like a whole, he creates lots of albums that are just available for streamers to use. He's a content creator himself, so got lots of different ones on there. But I use this quite a lot. That was the lightest tone, so maybe we actually get real brave when we start chucking in some of this. So I think maybe I'll create a new layer just in case I retreat from how brave I'm being. We try to identify a few branches here and there of like this tree here, for example, on top of some of the work I've already done. So now it's me having to do a little bit of the work. But they're just like diagonal dashes really in the trees, trying to be brave with chucking in some of these other tones, building up those petals and all the different looks. I do want this side to be really bright in comparison, but it's going to take a while to get there, and that's quite a concern. It's quite a concern. So far though, the whole thing's coming together quite nicely. This bottom area though is driving me a bit mad, so I think we'll try and change the ground down here to like, it shouldn't be that colour, but I just needed to get rid of that. It didn't look very nice. I think maybe we can grab this green just right underneath the trees. I've never watched a John Wick film, by the way. Maybe I should. Now, I could make this really, I like it, you should use them in your videos, the music, that would be cool. I don't know how I guess I could download it, I don't know if you're allowed to use them in YouTube videos as well. I did put up a poll actually this week that was like, about whether or not to use background music anymore in my tutorials. A lot of people said do it, but my concern was that a lot of people then also did say, well, you know, for me, not for me, but as in for them, it's you know, that are hard of hearing, it's quite nice when there isn't any background noise. So I was like, that is a very good point. Do I change what I do for 33% of people who said not to do it anymore, or do I stick to what I do and go from there? It's a tough one, because I would imagine the 66% of people, well, you're not watching my tutorials, are you, for the music in the background, the same piano track. I like it, it creates a vibe, I really like it, but it yeah, you're not watching it for that track, are you, you know? So would you care? Probably not. I need to take this grid off the screen now, don't I, really? So we can actually see what it is we're doing. A little bit of something in the sky. I'm trying to, at the minute, to give you an idea, I'm trying to gauge whether or not to chuck that style I really like. You know what I'm going to say. A big fat whopping flare up in this top left hand corner. See the light source coming across and see how it affects the design. But when it's these daytime views like this, I love it. And again, it's about finding a style that you like. So chuck in that overlay up there. Let's grab another new layer, change that to overlay. These are usually the last steps that I would normally do in my tutorials, but when it's like this, where I'm just practicing, it's kind of good to get it in now, because I can gauge whether or not to change certain things. Like that flare across the screen, look, it just looks so nice. And then it doesn't make me feel quite so bad at the minute that the tracks are a bit dark and dull, because it's like the light's just peering over the top over there, so this is just all in the shade, you know. And then maybe if we were to create a new layer, let's say clip to the trees, I'm just going to try something. Airbrush, soft brush, set that to overlay. I always do these like highlights and flares in this style. If we just there you go, just that little, you see that little color change there, just painting over the tops of the trees as if they're just catching the light just a little bit. That light breaks across, hits the top of the trees, and you get that the differences in the lighting. Well, I think we're nearly done, so I think we're going to wrap the stream up. But yeah, it's come through quite quickly. No, it's the back of the tracks that are the problem. I think they actually need to lead into the same thing, as in like they just need to lead into darkness, I think. Get right into here. Teeny tiny details down here now. Yeah, like where everything just vanishes. We can't see it. Love the highlights. I appreciate it. You have to, Joe. It's a great franchise. Maybe I'll check it out. How many are there, Milo? Is there a lot? Appreciate it, Lindsay. Do you hear it while you're painting, Joel, in tutorials? Do I hear it? The music? Are you referring to the music, Red? Oh yeah, it would be hard of hearing, yeah. I mean, I do turn it all the way down. Oh, so sorry. If you're referring to the music, that's just added afterwards. I don't play the music while I'm recording. No, I'm just sat here just cracking on. No, the music doesn't play. I add it afterwards, so I turn it right down, like it's so low. It's just a little something. Sometimes I'll be drawing something for a little period where I'm just cracking on for a moment, and there's no instruction. We're like maybe just repeating ourselves quite a bit, and then it's like, well, I feel like there should be just a little something, just to fill the air a little bit. But I don't know. Yeah. I mean, that's what I would do anyway. A few tutorials are coming up that there's no music on, so I've purposely done it to see what people think. Miss Bella says, I say what you feel is best for your videos. That if it's removing the music or lowering the volume, that's fine. I show up for the art and the conversation. Yeah, I appreciate it. Almost very realistic. I appreciate it. Looks great on the trees. Nice little bit of that extra lighting that just breaks over the top. Into a tunnel into the mountain. The problem is, again, it's so far that it's like pointless, like putting that in. It's a good idea, but it's so pointless. Like you're putting detail somewhere that no one can see. So what's up, Kat? How are you doing? Good to see you. Oh, 4 films. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with all these conversations because I'm behind. I never noticed it in tutorial, to be honest, but it doesn't bother me. That's the thing, I turn them right down and I am far louder, so yeah. We'll see. Do I add much detail to this mountain? Because obviously now Kat's joined, I have to like steer away from them a little bit. Because I remember a lot in the early days of the streams, everybody like, no, not another mountain, I hate mountains. But we'll just keep it simple. I promise. Just keep it simple. Just a little something like this, maybe. I hate it. Really shit. We're randomly working on a little railroad track. Yeah, that's it really. I think what we'll do is we'll keep that rubbish mountain at the back there for a moment. This is something I've now started doing like constantly. Is what I refer to as like scratch highlights. So I go in with the dry ink and I do scratch shadows as well, and they're just very simple little extra sort of details, and I call them scratches and scrapes because they always remind me of that. They just seem to give me that vibe as if you're sort of, you ever see those like they're always in like craft shops, and you like it's like a black piece of card but it's got like foil maybe underneath, and you literally scratch off to like draw your design, so you're kind of like working backwards. Little things like that, that's what they remind me of. That's what they always remind me of. Let's try and be a bit easy going with these highlights on here. I need to start really light back here. Oh Jesus, come on man. Something like that. Don't really need to add anything on that side. Could add like little random scrapes and scribbles over here, but I feel like that rad brush has just done so much for me over here. I don't really need to. Like I could do these little random scrapes and stuff just to show maybe the odd little branch getting some extra detail, but I don't think we need it. We'll create a new layer and go for my shadows and like really invest some time into these darker areas. Try and give it that scratchy painting look that I've been rolling with a little bit. So like under here, for example, underneath the lines, they wouldn't have a really harsh shadow, so I just need to bear that in mind. Just those extra little details, I think they look sick, you know. I did miss you, Kat. It's been ages since we've had the whole gang together. A lot of the ones in the early stages, but we've got a new gang now, so you've got to do some sort of initiation, I think. Misty vibe over the mountain. That's good. That is a good shout. That's a very good shout. Let's see what that looks like in a sec. Check out the badge. Yeah, you're up to silver now. I was literally looking at that. There's quite a few people that are a little bit off of Cat, I'm only joking. There's quite a few people that are probably about like 5 months away from gold. Be the first sort of gold members, which is cool. Ella says, you make it look so simple. I try for you. Oh, I got a question for you. Who would you, out of all the Procreate creators, who would you most be interested? No, I'm not. Just this is just like a one of those like conversation you have, like just like a not would you rather kind of questions, but just like a hypothetical. Who would you most like to see maybe start live streaming? You know, like who out of the whole who out of the like Procreate creators would you most like to see have do a random live stream? Who would you most be intrigued to be like, oh cool, what are they like, or kind of thing? Who would you most be intrigued to see? And yes, we are one family, not We are not gangs. We're not individuals from different eras. We are one. Oh, Nathan Brown. I've never heard of that name before. Interesting having an OnlyFans. Because I think like all the time that it would be so interesting to be like, oh, I wonder how they would get on like live streaming, like, because I know their communities would probably love it, but it's like, you know, a lot of them, they probably have quite a lot on. But I think it's a really interesting idea to see who would get. Oh, good question, Luna. Question for you. Who out of the Procreate peeps would you most like to do a collab with? Oh, great question. I don't know how the collab would work, so without working out the logistics of that, I think it would be probably, to answer the question, I think it would be one of a couple of people. Angry Miko, because his art style is ridiculous, like it's so good. But I mean, the guy spends like hours and hours and hours on a design, and I love that idea. I'd love to do that, but it just doesn't work like that for my style of content. Angry Miko for sure. I think me and James could make a very good collab. I think that would be a very good one. I think he could push me, like style wise and like skill wise for sure, but I wouldn't step down from it for sure. So I think me and James could do something that would be very on par. Not on par. I don't want to talk down on James. James is unbelievably talented. He makes things look so easy. But I think me and James could make something that would be really good and very on brand. On brand is what I'm looking for. Otherwise, you could obviously say Flow, you know, like the views would be nuts. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'll be in the Bahamas. I'll be putting my feet up. I'll be like, this is life now. This is done. Like, I'll be done with all of you lot. Like, it's over. Do you know what I mean? I'm joking. Yeah, no. I mean, Flow styles. I'm not sure how ours would work together, but I'm sure they could for sure. I'd be really fascinated to know how like it would work between me and Tatty, for example, because Tatty has, like I say this all the time, like a wonderful style where she packs texture in and texture in and texture in, you know, and so I think it'd be awesome to see how that would like work. I don't know how the collab would work, so that'd be interesting if we're both working on one design. I don't know, but yeah, like, yeah. What I think do you know what I think would be a really cool idea? Like, hypothetically, if I gave, so like, let's say that happened, yeah? Let's say we're going ahead with a collab, yeah? And I gave, hang on. I don't know, let's just say that, like, to strip this back to what it was before, yeah? If, like, let's say it was me and James, we create a very basic scene and then go, I'll take yours, you take mine, you finish that in your style, and I'll finish that in my style. Do you know what I mean? So like, I give that to James, James would go ahead and do it in his style, and then I would take whatever he's designed and go, okay, cool. What colors do I think would look cool here? What, you know, blah, blah, blah. I think that's a really sick idea for a concept of how tutorial could work, you know. It'd be, I mean, from a logistics point of view, from like somebody watching the tutorial, it'd be a nightmare. Like, be like, oh, part 2, you've now got to go over to Joel's channel and like follow it. But I mean that could work. It's not completely outrageous, but from a style, yeah, I think from a style point of view, we could definitely do things like that. That'd be sick. I feel like I'm missing a layer because there's like light patches down here. I need to change that. I think that would be really cool. Genevieve, yeah, I've watched probably 4 or 5 of her videos before in the past, very sporadically, but that would be interesting to see how that would work out for sure. And you guys saying, Genevieve, in terms of doing the live stream, you mean, I'm guessing, like as in see how they would do with a live stream. Do it. I mean, James is killing it. You know, he's a big star. Yeah. Well, maybe I could. Maybe. I wonder. I mean, fuck it. I mean, I just drop him a message and just be like, "Yo, I got an idea for you." I've said this before. Like, I swear, this space is crying out for people to start collabing with each other. It's crying out for it. I just don't sometimes know the format of how that works. And something like that makes sense with me and James, because I said, like, he does like landscapes, and I'm sure he would just absolutely nail anything I gave him. But like, if you were to give that to somebody else whose style is not in that style, it doesn't work. So you kind of need 2 people doing the same thing, you know. But I definitely think the whole Procreate space is dying for some like collaborative efforts in some way. It's just whether or not, to be honest, if like the big names, they'd even want to. Do you know what I mean? Like, you know, no disrespect to me or anything, but like, you know, they've done it all. Like, they've done what they wanted to do, and like they're killing it. You know, why add the extra workload on and stuff? You know. That's what I would say. But I mean, it'd be sick for the fans. So maybe we have to try and make it work. And also, like, I guess if you were to sort of consider it as a business transaction as well, in a way, for like the business, and that's what let's say that other person on the other end, that's what they would consider with the deal as such, the collab, is that like what are they going to get out of it? Because he's going to be exposed to 32,000 subscribers, whereas I would be getting exposed to his audience of, I don't even know how many James has got, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. But do you know what I mean? It's like, how does that work? Like, what's the point for someone like that? You know what I mean? It's a great idea. It would do a massive collab between Procreate. Do you know, again, I think it's so untapped. And I don't know what goes on with like people with certain sort of circles at higher levels of subscribers and stuff, but I swear to God, like, this, I don't know what what it would be. I don't know what, and it would need working out and flushing out. But there's got to be something that I can guarantee. Flo's been doing this for 5 something years. I can't even remember off the top of my head. Let's say it's just 5 to 6 years, 5 or 7 years, whatever. And I spoke to her before, and I said, how have you managed to stay creative? I asked her on Instagram, I said, how have you managed to stay creative? Because if you think about it, Flo's done a video a week on YouTube. Let's say it's 7 years. She's done 350 plus videos and tutorials on Patreon. So let's say we double that. Let's put it around about the 700 video mark. That's crazy. To come up with 700 video ideas. just thought processes of just how to keep it fresh. And surely the next stage for the space is to somehow make it a little bit more collaborative in a way, or just to unlock different creativity and different methods and something new for this space. Because at the minute, it's every Friday, your inboxes get absolutely inundated with different tutorials, and that's great. But I think there could be something new. I think there could be something different, you know? I think there's a lot that we can do to keep it going and get it different, you know? Luna says, I mean, dude, it's like you're drawing lead-in stick, man. Red Mystiker, it's really crying out for it. You guys all have cornerstone of YouTube doing Procreate. We already think it's a massive family, none being better than other, in my opinion. Like, there's so few. And that's the thing, like, people in this space just jump on that topic for a second. On a Friday, you'll go, all right, well, I'll do Joel's tutorial this week, or I'll do Flo's tutorial, and I'll do Tatty's or something. And then the next week you'll be like, I'll do James's, I'll do funky teas, I'll do apple crisps, and like, then the week after you'll do, see what you get offered and go, I'll do Genevieve's, I don't know. There's so many creators, I don't want to miss out on anyone. But do you know what I mean? Like, you hand pick what you want to do. That's the best thing about it. There's no one like, I'm not watching that video. It's like, because I only do such and such. You know, it would be naff if it came down to numbers. I'm catching up. Sorry. I watched a Photoshop collab recently, and it was a great concept. They had to stock photos and create something with that. It was amazing, different styles. Yeah, see, even if it was as simple as that, Neuralax, like train tracks and train tracks lead into the leading into the distance, and this would be my submission for the week. You know, it'd be a bit crazy if we had like 5 or 6 people, because your inbox would just be train tracks, like nothing else. That's all you get this week. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it would be cool. It isn't necessarily about adding onto the workload. It's just about spot. Yeah, you're right. It wouldn't necessarily add onto the workload, and it would be interesting. Like, what would you do? Would you jump on a quick Skype call and be like, just to film a segment in the middle and be like, here's the handover kind of thing? You'd be like, oh, cool. Okay, I see what you've done there. Okay, I've got an idea. Let's go for it. And that'd be it. Just a little segment in the middle, and then. So let's flush that idea out a little bit. Me and James did a collab with that concept. I gave him that as a design, and so he would film colouring this in and styling it up, and I would film styling his up, but we would swap footage. So the video on my channel would start with me creating a scene, halfway through switch to James, and James finishes the tutorial on my channel, and like that, and then I do the same on his. So he would paint on the designs first, I then do the second half of it, and then we go on to each other's channels, so that the vid is the same one, so you get the whole design from start to finish kind of thing. Not like, now jump over to James's video halfway through to go find where to carry on. Do you know what I mean? I remember back when 1000 did a huge art collab with several other artists, unique styles, but the end result of the art piece was awesome. Yes, it's such a cool idea, isn't it? I think what he gets out of it will be freaking fun art. Yeah. Shakir, who are you referring to? Sorry, saying who is this? Who is this? Luna says, I started this topic today. I want to cut. Nah. No. That's not how this works. I don't know if anybody has been seen to do 1000 collaboration. Yeah, Kevin, I'll need to check that out, Kevin. You'll all get given plain canvases and same paints, brushes, crack on for 2 hours. Yeah, collabing on the same pic, we're seeing each other's stars. The result would be amazing. Yeah, watch the whole 1000 series. It was a blast. I need to watch this 1000 collab. Can somebody send it me on Discord or something so I can see it afterwards? Like, just send me like the first episode or whatever it was, or wherever it was. What's up, Nick? Nick, did you just become a patron today? I can't see the notification, so I'm pretty confident it is you. We'll find out. Lindsay says, if you reach out, Joel, and suggest the idea, they might not say yes, but what if they do? It would be cool. I'm just going to do it. Just send a DM. Once a month doing that would be a great concept. You just drop it. Just an idea. Oh, three-person collab. That's an interesting idea. Cat, what about the half? Someone on Insta draws something, splits it, and say, "Oh yeah, that's a good idea." In different styles. That's a cool idea, isn't it? Oh, you lot, we've got a little something going on tonight. You lot you've had your cups of tea, haven't you? I can tell. Oh, I might have to put this down as expenses and just put this down as a business meeting or something. Could be cool if you actually filmed you doing your edit of James's image, but you are both streaming together, chatting about what you did. Oh yeah, that'd be cool. See, that would be freaking awesome, but I just don't think that would ever work out, because what I'd have to do is be like, it would be a 2-week project essentially, where in the first week we just have to get our plain designs done, you know, just so that the time frames are nice and loose, and then midway through we film this handover, and then we have another week just to finish it off and film the second bit, because we would need to look at it, probably practice something first on it, and then film it and edit it, and then supply it to the other person. So it'd probably take a little bit of time just to try and get that going, you know. I'm not finished with this yet, by the way. Sorry, we've just got so wrapped up with doing the idea. Sorry. I've got a few details I want to add in here. It's not a shy thing, really, because I think I've spoken to James before. I've spoken to Flo, Tatty as well. Like, I try to drop messages and it's just nice, like to be nice. You know, we all do the same thing. It's cool just to support each other. So yeah, it'd be a cool idea. You want to see the DM received? Damn. God, Lindsay, you're really pushing your weight around here, aren't you? Making me make merch, making me know, you want DM receipts. You know what I mean? What are you trying to do? You trying to get a job? Nah, you didn't derail it at all, Luna. It's something I've thought about loads of times. Maybe they're watching. Maybe we're just sending it out into the universe, and maybe it'll come back. Maybe it'll come back. Just share the link for 1000 Matter Collab on Discord. Appreciate it. Thank you. Right, what do we think to this naff mountain at the back? Do we mist it? Do we just do something where you can see the silhouette there, and what if we just add a mask to it? And we could either fade out the top of it, but that doesn't really make much sense. We could fade out the bottom of it, but that leaves this space here a bit too colourful. So why don't we instead create a clipping layer to it and add some colour to it instead, so like a bit of a gradient, then brighten up maybe the top half. Oh, I don't really want to add in too much detail back there. This is a problem. What did we do before? Alright, Lindsay, alright. I'll let you off. We'll let you off. Miss Joe, I think James has collaborated before, so you should absolutely check it out. Let's do it. Cooper Landing coming out. Cooper, God, we spoke about this earlier, didn't we? Cooper's dead for a minute. I'll kill Cooper. Luna says, alright, after love yous and run. Thanks for an awesome stream. Lindsay, don't stop pushing until you show them DM receipt. I don't think mist matches this design though, because it's like clear skies, sun beaming across. I don't really get that vibe. I kind of just see that, but like, Luna, it's lovely to see you. Thank you for hanging out with us. We'll see you again next week. I'm not sure. Rob says, I've got to go. I'll miss you all next week. Gotcha. Take care, Robs. Appreciate you hanging out with us. No, let's just join the Discord. That's awesome. Yeah. I'm not even sure what I think about. Like, is that just that could be the scene? But it, like, we've seen them. God blimey, you gonna be able to talk, son, or what? We're seeing the mountain there. It like doesn't. Once now you've seen it, you kind of think that that's what it should be, but like that still looks fine. It just looks like train tracks to sort of anywhere. Whereas you could just do something like that, where it's just the sun peeking over the top. I'm wondering whether or not you can just, no, you can't really boost that flare too much. I'm wondering maybe we could drop the background color a little bit darker. That gives it a really nice moody look to it. You see, that's really bright, but if we redo that and bring in that slightly darker sky, I think that looks really nice. What do we think, gang? What do we think? Oh, blimey. What do we think? I think I like that. Moody look. Alright. Let's roll with that. Let's roll with that. I was just thinking today, I was like, do I just shave all this back down again and just go cash? But I've got like a little holiday trip coming up in a couple of weeks. So I was like, do I want any photos of me just to have a tash? They're pretty permanent, but you know, it's been a lucky charm. It's been a lucky charm, the old tash. So maybe. Who would have thought a tash, eh? No shave job. What does that mean? Does that mean no, please go on and shave? Or does that mean don't shave? No, just the sides and that, man. Leave the tash. Just the tash. Leave the tash. I'm not from London. You sound proper London. No. I am completely on the coast at the very bottom in sunny Devon, which is absolutely chucking it down. You have performed magic and made the mountain disappear. Yes, we got rid. And I think I like this. This just looks like it's in the middle of nowhere. I don't think we need anything up there. I don't think we need anything. Leave the porno stash. Oh, the mountain looked okay. The mountain looked okay, but I kind of feel like this is just like leading to somewhere far away. I think the mountain. I just don't know what the color. I don't know. Also, let's try something a bit brave instead of just wondering about this mountain. Let's see if I can create another new layer here for even more highlights of like this color, I think it was. And we go airbrushing, soft brush, and let's try and just show that light maybe just breaking down onto the tracks a little bit. See, that looks nice, but it doesn't really make much sense why there's no lighting over here quite so much. Like it's, although that would be dense forest, so maybe. No, that ruins the color scheme quite a bit. Do I like that on or off? It makes more sense off, because the light's just creeping just over the top of the trees and it's just hitting this area here. Okay, let's just see if we can make this flipping mountain work. I think there's a couple of things that we can try. That doesn't look too bad. The top of the mountain needs doing properly, but the darker colour at the bottom of the mountain looks better. So let's delete that layer. Let's try and redo. What if we just set this to add? Believe it or not, I've actually gone off of drawing mountains a little bit. I don't know why. I think once you've done it a few times as well, it can get a little bit boring to just do it over and over and over again. Too bright, too bright. Could do a wispy cloud. Could do a wispy cloud. You're not banned. Can't post. No, you weren't banned. Maybe I like the mountain because I'm in a state surrounded by railroad tracks that always show mountains in the back. Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. I did think it had gone quiet for a second. Milo, you just banning people left, right, and centre, are you? Jesus, running wild with power, running wild with it. Definitely an optional thing to add to this tutorial, I think. Definitely. What if I change this to color dodge, I think it is, or is it color burn I normally turn it to? Where you use the same color. No, that's too colourful, that looks naff. What if that was changed to a different blend mode? Linear burn. That's better. But not quite what I was expecting, but darken up down here a little bit more. Fade that up towards the mountain tops. That then really gives that impression that it's beaming that light across. Definitely an optional idea. Definitely an optional one. No. Definitely looks moody without. I like the fact it just seems like a bit eerie, like it just runs into nothing. Trying to test a few ideas here. I just don't think mist necessarily is the vibe of this one. It doesn't give me mist vibes. Like it's I don't know, like it just doesn't seem like it would work with this particular version. I guess maybe like where the morning's coming in and it raising upwards maybe. I just feel like there's a lot of like things going on. Because I wanted to make this one a YouTube one, so I think yeah, I'm not sure. Basically meaning I was hoping to keep it a little bit more simple. But it does look cool. What do we think? What do we think? I like the light beam on the trees. Yeah, I like that too. This one coming across. Just that little sun. Again, it's those little things that I keep repeating lately just to try and sort of really nail down a style. You know, I really like doing that look. A little bit of mist halfway up maybe. Alright, we'll give it a go. A little something like that. The colours on the mountain are mad, like they're so bright. Reduce them down. Like a little something low hanging like that. Wait a second, what's happening? What's happening? God, I've got loads of opinions with this one. Loads of opinions. I think I think the mountain has to go. I think the mountain's got to go. I just don't. It's alright, Roberto, you're all good. This looks awesome, Jar. We're going to get a tutorial on this. Oh, rule 101. Can't say that T word. You can't say the T word. Jeez. That's usually a 5-minute ban. Yeah. I see. Everybody knows. Everybody. Uh-oh. 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 Yeah. What do we do? What do we do? We just ban Robert for 5 minutes. I'll let you off. It's all good. It's all good. But if you say it again. Robert, let me know if you're here. I need your opinion. This is how you can redeem yourself. Where the hell's that emoji come from? Do you know what we need? We need an emoji for the T word. I'll make that, I promise. Or if you want to make one, a T with maybe like a line through it, and I like it, we'll do it. Make it 128 pixels by 128 pixels. If you want to make it, you can send it me on Discord. Links in the description. If you want to make it, and then if I like it, I'll make yours the emoji that we can use in the chat, exclusive for members. Right, Robert, you listening? I need to know. Do you prefer it with or without the mountain? With mountain? Without mountain? Without mountain. Don't even need your opinion. Got it. And Robert, it's all good. It's all good. I'll tell you how that. I think it's worth always me explaining how that story came about and why the T word is always banned in the chat. Oh, you said with the mountain. Jesus. How that story happened was, I was making a design a long time ago, and I used to post designs that weren't tutorials, like just me drawing in the evening. I would post my finished creations on Instagram, and some of them would never make it to tutorials because it was just me drawing. I'm just sharing my content at that point. But I had this guy, and he was an absolute. We'll just put blank, and he commented, and it was just tutorial in capitals, just like, not like, Joel, this would make a wicked tutorial. I'd love to learn how to make this, but tutorial. So we banned that word for people asking, because most of the time all the content I'm drawing anyway, it ends up as tutorials anyway, so it's all good. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. I can't. That's the thing. And it's just like, it was the abrupt rudeness of it, of just not being like, nice about it, like everybody else is. Could go with or without. So yeah, that's that story. That's just the reason why the T word is banned, because we would sometimes as well, people would come into the live stream now and be like, I need this as a tutorial. Like, I know it's always intended in a lovely way. I always get it. It's just that you like the design. You want me to do it. I appreciate it. I love it. That's fine. But we just set that rule in place. Do you know what? I think I can set rules up for that stuff as well. Like, if you say the T word, it's like an automatic ban. Only for like 5 minutes. Just relax. Nothing personal. We're all friends. All good. I think I like it. I think I'm done with it. I don't think there's anything else. What else do you think we could add to it? Don't say mountain, for Christ's sake. I'm not gonna ban you, Melissa. If no mountain, something needs to be in the background. There's me hoping I'll get an early night, do you know what I mean? You're not working me to the bone here. made a mistake of saying that. Would love a tea, and I was banned for like 10 minutes. Yeah, you were the first one we actually put that like test on. I like the mountain, but it feels too blank in that grey area. That's the thing, right? So this is one thing I'm trying to teach us is what's the main focal point of the design? For me, it's here and here. The content, as it gets further away, we don't care anymore. It's like if I put my hand here, we're not interested. See that? That's the mountain back there. We're not interested. The only thing that's in focus and is our attention is here. We're not interested in back here anymore. And that's how you should think about your artwork. The whole thing should not be crisp. The whole thing should not be detailed from start to finish, back to front. Back to front being the most important thing. Pick where your focal range is and then stick to that. Like, we're not interested in these trees down here. These trees look rubbish. Look at that. Zoom in on them. They look naff. But when you crush them down, they look like trees in the distance. That's all they need to be, you know? So it's like working out, well, where do we want the user to look? And really, it's just here and a little bit down here. So that's kind of the same focus, you know? But yeah, we could do it. Maybe some, oh, hang on, let me catch up because I actually missed a few comments there. Where's my mouse? Let's have a look. Both look amazing, but would prefer without the mountain, says Weezer. Bella says, whoever that someone was, he was rude. 128 by 128 pixels, that is the canvas size. If you want to make a T-word emoji, it's got to remember, it's got to be tiny. It's going to be like those badges. I don't know why you can't see me pointing, but those little badges beside everybody's name in the chat, that's how small it would be. So just, it's got to be able to look like it's meant to look like something when it's really small. We could add birds in the sky for sure. That's a really good idea. Thank you for the explanation of the T-word, Robert says. And knowing is half the battle. Yeah, birds, we saw that. Thanks, Bella. What's up, Jay? Thank you, Mega. I appreciate it. It looks great, Joe. Says Romiska. Sorry, I'm so late, Jay. It's all good. It's all good. Slaving away at the tutorial factory, Joe. One day you'll get a break. Yeah. If I don't get one soon, I'm going to absolutely tip over. The tracks and the trees. It's the tracks and the trees. No mountain, please. Milo is adamant that this should not have a mountain in it. Ooh, sexy hand. Stop it. God. Simplicity made it great. A bird, a plane. We just whack Superman in the background. Picking nits. But I think the rails are too small. They look too far apart. They look too small. They look too far apart. My concept is obviously that we're stood on them. I'm not going to change the perspective of it though, but I can see what you mean. You could bring the rails in slightly. I mean, I would imagine that's not the hardest job in the world either. To be honest, they probably just need to be made bigger, but I'll make a note of that for when we actually come around to doing it. But you could select those layers there and probably you could re-distort them, bring them inwards. I know I've just messed up my highlights on the top layer though, but you could do something a little bit like that, bring them in and then adjust the highlights as well. But we can definitely adjust it. Yeah, but still in life, there's something even if we don't care about it. It could be Brother Robin. Could be Brother Rob doing a dance. We don't care. I thought we said our brother robbing someone while they're dancing. Is that how I scanned across that? I was like, geez. Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it. It's the mood of the painting. What I would say, Bella, is if you've bought the brushes, obviously don't delete them. What I would say is if you've bought them and you don't ever use them, just upload them onto like iCloud or something, or like Google Drive or something, and then so you've always got a copy of them. But I to be honest with you, I could easily get rid of all of these. Tree set I would probably keep. Halloween stamps, that's mine. Mini watercolor, never use that. How do I quickly delete these? Oh, tap on it, delete. I've been meaning to do this for a while. What's this one? Trees, they could come in handy for a tutorial. That's the only benefit for me. Faux art, they can go. They don't really serve any purpose in the type of work that I do. Free bokeh I've used in the past, so I'll keep that, and cocoa as well. That's the same one again. Let's delete that. Bokeh again, never used that. Delete that. Underwater, I've used that in a past tutorial, so I'll keep that one. I keep the past ones because if I need to get access to those brushes again. Palm trees, have done them as well. Those leaves, never used them. No, never used them. Sure, I've used them before. Oh, they're interesting. How have I never used that brush before? But yeah, we could easily go through it. I'll take some time. Take a look at what does need to go. Power lines. Would there be power lines that close to the train tracks? A plane. I don't see how power lines would integrate into this. And also you just add in another vertical element that you need to add on the side there. That's, where would that even sit? Do you know what I mean? It's going to be taller than the trees, and it wouldn't be taller than the trees, I would say, in this. What did Neural say? But ruins the natural feel. Wait, one of those power line things with birds on. See, that would make sense if I hadn't have done trees on both sides. If I'd have done trees on one side, you could have done the power lines down one side for sure. Yeah, I'll make them a little bit closer together, Kevin. I think you're right looking at it again, but I wanted to make sure at least they definitely look so much bigger closer towards us. But yeah, we could probably thicken them out a little bit towards the bottom, make them a bit bigger, but also bring them in a tiny bit. I think it's fine either way. Trust the process for sure, Nick, for sure, which we can get merch for now in the description down below if you want to go check it out. The first one I went for were some freebies. I got through some app. I won't get rid of the good brushes. Yeah. Oh, Melissa, I know. Sorry to comment on which comment you've made. You said it's a great painting. No debate there. I appreciate it. I know what you're saying though. I totally agree. I think I like the simplicity of this version. I think I wonder whether or not it depends on where you are in the world. Over here they don't have the lines, but I know what you're saying. They would look cool. I think that's a very American thing. Over here they don't. Yeah, just rampage through my brushes and start deleting them. A flock of birds flying overhead. Should we try something like that? I think I've even got a bird's brush. Maybe I've probably just deleted it. Where was it? Where did it go? I do want to go ahead and at some point make a bird's brush. I hate this brush. I don't know how it's meant to work. I actually quite like the scale of those. As if they're like really high and just relatively close. Some big birds. Red, bye lovely's gotta feed the demon spawn. Thanks for hanging out, Red. I'll catch you again next week. Are you gonna wear that hoodie for every live stream? So I will alternate from last week, the white one to the black one this week. Don't worry, they'll get washed. They'll get washed, I promise. But yeah, you won't find me in a video anymore. A Joel Create video without the merch on. That'd just be stupid, wouldn't it? Right. Melissa says, hey, question, don't kill me for mountain, but maybe the mountain was too big for the scale, maybe it's smaller. Should we have a look? Let's have a look. I'm all for these suggestions, otherwise I wouldn't ask. So don't ever feel like any particular way. I ask. That's what I will always ask, because I kind of like this little backwards and forwards we have sometimes. Sometimes it does work out with some good results. Sometimes I feel like you lot drink a lot during the day, but you know, it works out. It works out. What about that? Should I get rid of the box? I'll just apply it. But yeah, it wouldn't make sense for me anymore to be in a Joel Crate video without the merch on. It's just silly. Hey, Melissa. Yeah. Come take it. Come take it. Come on. Little bit off to the right. Oh, yeah, sure. Maybe that's the collab we were waiting for. It's just me and Melissa just making a design together. Yeah, I think the video would be about 18 hours long while we just go backwards and forwards about whether or not a mountain needs to be in it. But it would look cool. It would look cool. A bit bigger to the side with the birds other side. I'm going to bang my head into this screen in a minute. I'm only joking. Nora says, bit bigger. Off to the side, birds on the left. I need to colour that area in. Let's just chuck it here for a minute then. Oh blimey, you lot just absolutely just relentless. This is what I mean. I'll never get a coffee break. I'll never get a coffee break. What's going on? Why? I want that colour right there. And then I want to draw it on this Is it me who's drinking? What's going on? That's not that colour. That's the colour I want. Look, we can all see it's been selected. We'll go to the right layer, which is this one here. What the heck? This is the colour I want. If I put that on a separate layer, right, fair enough. As you were, and then we drop that down to 80%. Right, flipping out. Oh, that was hard work. The tracks could detour at the end, Kevin. Come on. I'm not editing the whole thing. But I know what you're saying. I saw the Trust the Process merge, but not like... I saw the Trust the Process merge, but not like your design. Okay. You mean you don't like the design of the match? Lindsay says, to be honest, I liked the bird solo. What happened to the Red Bull? I can't drink Red Bulls this late anymore. I would finish the stream and I'd still be in bed for another 6 hours just with my eyes wide open. It just wouldn't work. Kevin, have a good day, my friend. Good to see you. Mounting down a bit. Cheers. I think that's the one. No, I saw other merch. I'm confused, Jay. You don't. So you said you don't like the design. Instead, you found other merch on Amazon. I think this is the one. I'm sorry. I think this is the one. I think this is the one. I'm not sure about the mountain. That looks so much cleaner. Maybe that's the solution. Maybe I'll say, listen, if you want to add a mountain, do what you want. Want to add some power lines? Do what you want. Maybe that's the collab. No, Joel. Jay loves your merch, but they saw other merch which I suppose is, yeah, it's a pretty common phrase. Fair enough. The mountain looked rubbish. I didn't like the colours of it. Whereas this is just endless. Just disappears. I have another design that's going live on Patreon. Oh, I don't even know when now. What month is next? April. Let me have a look. I think it's like late May, early June, and it has an optional thing at the very end where, kind of imagine that you're like looking at like a lake with trees on it, but with trees like on the land beside it, but you then look through like a hole of like some bushes to see that view. You kind of look through, so there's like bushes down here, trees overhanging at the top, and it's like an optional step. I don't want to show you the design because it's like way ahead in the future yet. You'll get it on Patreon at some point. It's already done because I'm well ahead, which is great. Are we all for? I think we banned Lindsay for 5 minutes. I think we've got to sort of stand our ground a little bit. I can't show the one pin willow, Lindsay, because it's a sneak peek for patrons. Otherwise, no one's going to support me over there on Patreon. If you want a sneak peek of a one pin willow design, it's available over on patreon.com/JoelCreate. Head on over. I tell you what it is. It's me working out the nonsense from, like, you know, actual things, like in the chat. You know what I mean? Anything else I'd add to this? No. But this would always be very cool to do with different variations on lighting. I always think that's a really cool concept, to take the same thing and just change it. So, like, you could take this and have the moon. So if the sun... Oh, wait, where's our flag on? And the lighting. All the lighting disappeared. Oh, there's the finished version. Yeah, that's what it's meant to look like. Great stuff. Okay, this is the final one. But if you... So if the sun's over there on this variation, on this... on a second variation, you could put a moon just behind here, and then therefore flip the design so that the lighting is hitting these trees with like a little bit of moonlight, a dark sky, obviously. Change all this to muted tones. It'd be cool. If you're going to ask me to do it, there's absolutely no chance that I'm going to be doing that tonight. I did a one pin willow design yet. I can't show you. It comes out next Tuesday on Instagram and stuff, so you can check it out there on Tuesday. It goes live on Tuesday. But if you are a superstar supporter or a Hall of Fame member over on Patreon, you've got access to it right now. Appreciate it, Neural. I like the colours as well. I think it looks cool. Lots of clashes of colour over here, but they just sit so well together that that looks a little bit more red than normal. I don't know if the colour balance has just changed. It's not quite that red. I wonder if that's changed. Very autumnal, yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Exactly. The design I did, I've done another tree design of sort with the lake that I was talking about in a really misty scene. I'd love to show you all this stuff, but it's so far ahead. Like, I just can't. I don't want to sort of give everything away just yet. I mean, we've got so much to wait for. But yeah, like a couple of misty scenes coming up. I mean, you saw one last week with the misty cabin on the lake. That one's already been done for Patreon. It's not my favourite work. It's one of them, but it's not compared to the other stuff that's coming out. Let's put it that way. Lindsay, you're so full of rubbish. Yeah, technically there'll be 2 Harry Potter tutorials then on Patreon once that one comes out next week, because I also did the Patronus tutorial. I'll show you. If you've not already joined Patreon, you can get access to the full suite of tutorials when you join. One of which is... Where are you? This always design. Love this one. We use a reference photo in the design to create the Patronus. Nice smoke coming off of it. And the always text, obviously, in the correct font as well. Very cool. There's nothing I would really change on this design either. Going back to like looking at it. Very cool though. I love this one. That I bully you, look. What did you say? I pick on you. You gotta be joking, ain't you? You gotta be joking. By the way, match is in the description down below if you're watching. Thank you, Nick. There's lots and lots of tutorials to pick from. I will just show you real quick some of my favorites from over on Patreon. Some of them in the early days used to be a lot more simple than the ones that I'm currently doing. I love this one. Just like it's a simple concept, isn't it? But I think it's just really cool. It's got a lot. There's a lot going on with it. It's cool. It's fun. That was one of my favorites over on Patreon. I'll just handpick a couple. There's that one. That was number 8. Oh, I really like this one as well. The ship in a jar design. That one's a fun one as well. I really like that one. Creating the glass. Kat, you've been a patron for like a million years. Like, you ain't done number 8. Nah, you're busy. I know you're busy. You got a lot on. This one is a fun one. I like this one. Again, they all have that slight sort of simplicity to them, but it's cool. This is also, again, a simple kind of concept, but it's one of my favorites. I love it. I love the colour in that rock on the left. And then it just disappears to nothing at the back. The hidden J a lot of the time was because back in the day when I used to post stuff online, you'd occasionally see people take it. Whereas now I'm just like, do what you want, I don't care. Alright. But yeah, this one's fun, the cowboy design. I can't remember what number this one is. But this one's a fun one, I like this one. Really subtle, and you get the Joel Crate landscape collection of brushes to make this style of design. So that's worth grabbing. That's now been updated to the V2 collection as well. So there's more brushes in there now. Should we find another one that I like? I mean, I like them all. We've got the cabin in the woods, obviously. Let's go older. Let's have a look at the older ones. Oh, this one's pretty cool. I think this is maybe number 3, maybe 4. Just like the UFO City design in the circle. I think it's just simple, but it's cool. Like, it's just, there's just so much in there to I think a lot of the early ones are really good for people just getting going, and they build up a lot more really towards like the newer tutorials that are on Patreon, because I have got a bit carried away with duration and stuff recently, and I'm all for it. It's the content I want to make. And I like this one as well, just for its like, I think it's really simple, and yeah, I like the texture in it. I like the colour palette. The sinking planet. It's just cool. Samurai one's cool as well. Lindsay says I have a long train journey coming up. Might have to try a couple of these for sure. Some of the early ones are a little bit quicker. You want to get a couple in. Love this one, and the texture in all of it. Just like little the dust brush. Very cool. Melissa is back on Patreon at a superstar tier. Melissa, if you're still here, I appreciate you joining the family again. It's a pleasure to have you back. Enjoy the content. As always, let me know if I can help you with anything. It's good to have you back. Although I don't even think you went. Or did you went? I'm assuming you did from that message. But you upgraded. Gotcha. Wait, so you got access to the 1-pin willow now then? I was already a superstar. Supporter. Superstar. Wait. God, I forget, mate. There's too many. Supporter. Super supporter. Superstar supporter. Hall of Fame. Oh, well, at least you got access to the 1-pin willow one right now. And then I'm going to handpick a new one. A newish one. Which is this one. I love this one. That flare design, very similar to what we've done tonight in a way. One of my favourites. But I have a new favourite. I don't know if it's because it's new. Maybe when I look at it again in a little while, maybe I'll change my mind. But the new one, I didn't redo the tiers. The only thing I did was I added a Hall of Fame tier at the top. We were picking up Mrs. Crate's wedding ring, and the jeweler who we picked it up from, we started talking backwards and forwards, and they were talking about their socials and that they could do with some help and stuff. And I was on my phone while they were talking to us, and like looking at their socials and their YouTube and stuff. And it turns out they had Patreon as well. And we started talking about content creation for ages. And like, I could have sat there and spoken to them for a whole day because it's so fascinating to bump into someone. Robert coming in with a superstar supporter tier. I appreciate the support, my friend. I swear you joined earlier, didn't you? I've not got the notifications. Oh, hang on, I can have a look because I've got my phone now. Did you join earlier? Yes, you did. Wait, no. But you became a superstar supporter. It doesn't really matter. Upgraded as well. I appreciate the support, everybody. Enjoy the content, the early access to the content as well. You always get early access to the Patreon tutorials ahead of time. Usually a week in advance at least. Where was I saying? Oh yeah, so we were talking about content creation with the jeweler and stuff, and it was fascinating. His Patreon, it's got a good amount of Patreon supporters, but the tiers were like all exactly the same. You don't get any extra content for supporting higher or lower. You got the same amount of content in each one. It was more down to the fact of if somebody wanted to, they have the option to support you at a different tier based on what they want to support you at financially wise. So the only thing I did was create an extra tier called Hall of Fame, where if somebody wants to support me, get all the same benefits as the highest tier, but support at a more generous level, they can do, and it's available there. And so that if they do, they are recognized, they get recognition for that. That's all it was. It was just that little extra additional tier in the system for just creating a higher tier of for people who want to be more generous. That's all it was. So yeah, it's just there. And this is the thing, I'm not pushing it. You probably wouldn't have even known anyway, because I never made a post about it. I never did anything like that. I don't ever want to come across that way because that's not the intention. It's just trying to be more. If I create the content there and somebody wants to take it up, that's up to them. I don't want to put it on someone in that way. I would hate to do that. It's just a bit naff. So, yeah. I don't really like the idea too much anyway, but it's not really up to me. In terms of, it's up to the person who wants to pledge at that tier. So, yeah. Kat, you're at superstar support, aren't you? You're a superstar supporter. You're already like the highest bar of the Hall of Fame, which is mental. If you're not doing the tutorials, it's just a silly amount of money anyway to be pledging, because you don't. If you're like busy with content, it doesn't make too much sense. Who was I talking to about this the other day? I was talking to Dobby about it. Dobby messaged me on Discord, and I was saying like, she was saying that I've not been too creative recently and stuff, and I've not managed to sort of get to doing some designs. Hang on, let me just switch this around quickly to what we did today. But she was saying, yeah, not got around to designs, and I said, well, I've just checked on Patreon, and you're still like top tier. And she was like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I don't mind. Supporting it there still, because even if I'm not there to support you practically, I want to support you that way. And I was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I appreciate it, but like, that's crazy. Like, the support level is nuts. You're not even doing the content at that point. Just mad love, lots of love. Jay says, if we get early access, can we not post our drawings early? Yeah, of course you can. You do whatever you want. I used to say back in the day, like when I first started doing the early access, oh, could you hold off? But it doesn't matter. You do whatever you want. It's your privilege as whatever tier you are to share your work however you want. You don't have to wait till the tutorial. So Milo is right, and at the same time, it's up to you. back in the day, like I said, I used to be a bit more hot on it and be like, oh, please, could you wait? But it's fine. Like, because at the end of the day, if somebody asked you, be like, how did you get? Well, I'm a supporter on Patreon. That's why. That's how I managed to get it early, and that's how I managed to finish it. But you wouldn't know because you're not a Patreon supporter. Should we try one thing? Always something I like to do right at the end is if we go copy all and we go paste and we go, so it's paste the whole design onto one layer. Just mess with the hue a tiny bit either way. This gives me a little bit more green in the trees, just a little bit. But going the other way will give me a bit more of a rose tint to it. So going down to 48%, but that's only 2% difference. Just these minor tweaks we can make. Even drop the saturation down or go crazy with it. We could increase it up to make it really vibrant. I think the brightness is bang on. I don't think we need to change the brightness. I never really changed the brightness because I always think that I would have made the adjustments as I was going. Otherwise, I would have, do you know what I mean? As in, I don't think the brightness is ever something that you would ever change. No, Jay, I didn't mean you are not a supporter, so you wouldn't know. I meant as in you talking to somebody else. Like, so if you were to share your work that you've already done and they'd be like, oh, how did you get access to the latest Job Creator tour? You would say to them, oh, it's because I support them on Patreon and I get early access. But you don't. Not as in you, Jay. The other person you're talking to. I'm not digging at you. I would never do that. Yes, sorry. So where were we? Saturation. Every time I boost the saturation though, and then I go back down to 50, and I take a look at it, I always go, God, it's looking a bit cold, a bit grey, a bit meh. Let's try something else. Let's go to the color balance and change the blue or the highlights. What are the highlights? The highlights are yellow, are they not? Okay, that changes the sky. Oh, that's really nice. Just a little bit of green in there. Got a bit of a vintage look to it. Oh, I quite like that. I'll apply the change. Let's go to our shadows and see if we can maybe just drop in a bit of purple in there, make them a bit more rosy. Trying to get that vintage look. The midtones, I think we'll keep them as they are. Look at the difference between, I mean, that's probably subtle, but that's the one we did today. And that's the vintage-ish version. You see that little bit of purple? Just watch here, especially for like the purple hues come in. That's the correct version. And then this is the vintage one. The sky's been slightly tweaked. The ground too. So it's a nice little adjustment. Yeah, well, playing with the blend modes for sure. That's always a really good way to just see if you can make any slight adjustments. Like maybe you were looking at it and realized in reality it could do with a ton more contrast. So you just whack in an overlay or multiply or something like that. Would look cool. All right, cool. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. We'll wrap it on that. We will wrap it on that. A lot of love on Patreon this week. A lot of love on the stream for Patreon. New supporters all over the place. If you've upgraded, I appreciate your support, which is God, why do I keep wanting to say Roberto for some reason? Robert. We can roll with Roberto, whatever you feel happy with. Robert, Melissa. I'm trying to think who else. I don't get the notifications on my Streamlabs anymore, which is really annoying, so I can't see. But anybody else who supported us over on Patreon today, I really appreciate you coming and showing some support. CC, oh no, we're just wrapping it up. What's up, CC? How are you? I think the hour change. Has the hour changed in other countries for everyone? It changed in the UK, so I'm probably like maybe slightly earlier than everybody than normal. Is it? I'm not later, am I? Or is it the same? I don't know. Lindsay says, thank you so much for the stream and weekly abuse. Keeps me humble. Yeah, you need absolutely discipline, and you do. It's only like 2:30 p.m. I can't remember what the time was. Nick, it's great to have you in the stream. I appreciate you joining the family, and it'll be good to see you every week. We're doing most Wednesdays. The only time I'll always let everybody know on the stream before if I'm not. Like, for example, I'm here next week, but I'm not here the week after. So no stream the week after next. So just some of you really struggle sometime to listen. So I'm going to say it one more time. I am here next week. Okay? Put me in your calendar. Don't go making plans, because if I see none of you here, I'll know. No change of time here. Yes, I must be earlier then for some people, right? Milo is in Puerto Rico. Right, let's wrap it. I had fun with this one. I'm all for your suggestions always. I love hearing your suggestions. So we had a little bit of backwards and forwards, but it's always a banter and it's never serious. It's always my intention just to have a laugh with you. So we'll wrap it. This week's YouTube tutorial feels a bit of a quiet week for me, really, because content-wise, there's nothing going out on Patreon. I've already done my post for this week for the 3 that I keep going on my gram, so I've got nothing until Friday, which is the tutorial. It's a pretty simple one this week, just a moody lit rose. It's a pretty simple one. Some of the tutorials have been a bit longer in certain areas, so I've wanted to just try and keep some simplicity here and there. So there's a really moody rose design on YouTube this week, followed by One Pin Willow next week, and then no idea what's happening on YouTube the week after. Probably this, but we'll see. So yeah, we had good fun, good laugh as always. Thank you to everybody who joined over on Patreon. If you're not already a patron, there's a link in the description down below if you want to come and show your support over there. Orders merch, orders links to my brushes, and so on and so on. I'll see you again next week. I've loved hanging out with you as always, and we'll wrap it. Thank you so much. I will be here next week. Make a note of it. Much love. I'll see you later.